The question of how faithfully Kennedy would stick to those ideas and values would be tested again and again. The presidential election of 1956 would be an important opportunity for Kennedy to gain momentum on his political journey. Despite a successful first term with impressive economic policies, Republican President Dwight D. Eisenhower was facing health issues. He had reservations about running for a second term, but eventually returned to the ticket. An important question bubbled up in Washington: which Democratic candidate would take on Eisenhower? The leading hopeful was Adlai Stevenson, who had run and lost against Eisenhower in 1952. If Adlai Stevenson was going to campaign against Eisenhower, he needed a strong running mate. Speculation surrounded Kennedy as a viable option. At first, Kennedy was hesitant, even surprised when he saw his name suggested in newspapers. But after some consideration, he decided this was the necessary next step in his political career. He plowed forward into the political fray and began to hone his prowess leading up to the Democratic National Convention that summer.
Well, I think he spotted a potential opening for himself. The nominee was probably going to be Adlai Stevenson again, so Kennedy, thought he could butter up Adlai Stevenson and be chosen as an ideal running mate.
If Kennedy had any chance of winning the vice presidential nomination on the Stevenson ticket, he would need to prove himself by openly displaying support for Stevenson's candidacy. His aides suggested the first step was helping Stevenson supporter John Lynch take control of the Massachusetts Democratic Party, then chaired by onion farmer William H. Onions Burke.
The people who encouraged Kennedy to do it said it was a brilliant move, genius, etc. Those who opposed it thought it was a stupid waste of his time, a diversion, allowing himself to get pulled into the muck of Massachusetts politics. And Kennedy was persuaded to enter that battle.
He actually went out and met with Burke and told him, "I'm going after you and we're going to beat you." And Burke was defiant, said, "Come ahead, I'm going to beat you in stronger terms than that."
Shortly before the convention, Burke was overthrown by Kennedy's team in a landslide vote. Onions Burke was enraged by the development. Having overthrown Burke and replacing him with devoted Stevenson supporter John M. Lynch, Kennedy had backed Stevenson in a big way, rallying the entire Massachusetts Democratic Party behind him. Kennedy was determined to continue climbing the ladder. This was the next rung on his rise to prominence.
He campaigns vigorously for Adlai Stevenson, again, getting his name out there and getting the loyalty and name recognition.
This strategic move gave Kennedy the influence he needed to be selected to lead the Massachusetts delegation at the 1956 Democratic National Convention. He would soon know if his efforts had been enough to claim the vice presidential nomination. Next on Kennedy.
Clearly, he was better prepared than anybody.
Nobody had ever campaigned like that.